Welcome to the CoffeeFirst podcast, inspiring stories and conversations from around the globe on faith, culture, and everything in between. I'm your host, Rebecca Machelli. Let's dive in. Today, we'll be tackling a topic that is as relevant as it is challenging, and that is the short life expectancy of startups and how we can build sustainable business legacies. I mean, let's face it, we've all heard of promising ventures that have failed to make it past their early years. And this is really making the startup landscape a graveyard of dreams, to be honest. But the question we need to be asking ourselves is, why is this the case? And more importantly, what can entrepreneurs do to increase their odds of success and create a lasting impact? Joining me on the CoffeeFirst podcast today is Joshua Pirot. He is the country director of AVODA Institute of Entrepreneurship, and he's here to discuss how we can do entrepreneurship that not only thrives, but also leaves a positive impact on the world. Welcome to the CoffeeFirst podcast, Joshua.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Great. Now, of course, you are someone who is very familiar with working with entrepreneurs. And, today's conversation is basically going to be about sustainability and longevity in business. I do know that after the COVID-19 pandemic, there were some very staggering statistics that were released saying that in the African landscape, 70 to 80% of African startups fail within the first 5 years. Now, this is a shocking statistic. I just wanted you to speak into, first of all, what are the common challenges that entrepreneurs are running into, or what mistakes are being made that are causing this short life expectancy of African startups?
Really good question. I think there are many challenges to this. Direct challenges and indirect ones. An indirect one that I can mention is, our infrastructural challenges, such as internet, mobile phone acquisition, internet penetration, roads, logistics, and so on. Though there are very personal challenges. Recently, I was having a coaching session with one of the AVODA entrepreneurs, and he was surprised at the things that he didn't know before he came to AVODA. I spent about a year and a half telling him that, look, you probably need to join a community where there are other people who are better than you. But most entrepreneurs work in isolation and they think they know everything. They think they can do everything on their own. Unfortunately, the African proverb is true. If you want to go fast, you can go alone. If you want to go far, you need to go with others. Further unfortunate for us is that even when you go alone, you can't go fast.
Right.
So then there are simple business challenges like, discovering the right business model. Is the market large enough? Do I know the people who I want to sell to? I really encourage entrepreneurs that, before sell from the idea stage, sell from the prototype stage, sell from the minimal viable product stage, always be selling. Selling from the idea stage is what you've done with me, saying, hey, Josh, can you hop on a podcast with me? That's selling from the idea stage. Unfortunately, Chair, there are many entrepreneurs who can't even do that. They are building in a silo. They are building in the quietness of their bedrooms, hidden away. And then they imagine that when they get to the market, it's just going to be, people are going to love their product or service. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Now, I do understand that there's been a very significant rise in digitization of African enterprises. And I do know that everyone, well, not really everyone, but a lot of people are hopping onto the tech train. And I just wanted you to speak into the integration of technology and embracing innovation for African startups. Do you think that tech is definitely the direction that African startups need to take to achieve the longevity that they're looking for?
I was recently in a Japanese trade show. It's the way they say the companies that would be pitching tech-enabled companies, tech-enabled. And the concept that I took was that you find a problem, you solve the problem, and then you use tech to make sure that your solution is optimized to reach other people faster, quicker, to ease convenience, delivery, distribution, and so on. The Japanese use this concept, tech-enabled. It is unfortunate, in my experience, that a lot of the entrepreneurs in Uganda are adopting the Western model, the Silicon Valley concept, where there is already infrastructure stable enough to allow for innovations within tech that can be quickly scalable. our country's infrastructure is not yet developed to such an extent that tech solutions can quickly scale and can quickly be created and adopted. So when we speak of innovation, yes, there are economies within where tech innovations can quickly scale. If you do not have a solution that is attuned to that specific market, your tech innovation will actually fail. And it won't fail because it's not a good innovation. It will fail because it's the wrong context. So tech enabled is probably a better way to look at it, to reframe the conversation around tech and innovation so that entrepreneurs in our markets in Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, East Africa, and so on are creating solutions, then using technology, whether it's AI, machine learning, blockchain technology, and so on and so on, to scale the solutions that they have already created, real life solutions, and not tech fantasies that people are like, oh, another tech company, oh, another tech company. Entrepreneurs in Africa, do they have the capability to innovate at a global standard? Yes, they have that. Does their context allow for those solutions to be scaled locally? Maybe not so much.
Right. Thank you so much for that. I think I was listening to Vusi Tembekwayo speaking, and he actually mentioned exactly what you said. We are obsessed with creating first world solutions for a third world context. And that's
Yeah.
something that's really not viable for us. And so I just wanted to ask you, can you just share some of the essential steps that you believe that startup founders can follow to remedy this challenge, or to remedy the statistic, to building what will last, or to building sustainable business ventures?
Again, really good question. The simple ones. Join a community where you can have real time feedback from other founders on your business idea. The other is to build for the market. Some people build for, I don't know how to put it, but some people build for grants. They build for grants that are being offered by these large government organizations and large organizations, global organizations, and so on. And so their solutions are disoriented from the market, and their solutions last as long as those organizations and those large projects are executing whatever they are executing. So build for the market, build for someone you know is facing a real problem, build for someone who is right next to you. I'm not saying B2B or B to large organizations, but if your solution is not sustainable in the long run, when those organizations and those projects and those flashy grants go away, then there is a challenge. And of course, again, on the other hand, somebody could say, my business cycle is basically going to last as long as the project. That's fine. You can make quick money and get out as the project ends. That's fine. But Africa needs more than that. Africa needs entrepreneurs who are creating long lasting solutions that address problems that are fundamental in our society, that are fundamental in our context. That means we have solutions for problems for which the community actually understands. The other thing I would say is collaboration. A lot of us, because we come from backgrounds that maybe poverty stricken, struggled a lot with life, our first priority is I need to secure the bankers, I need to deliver my people, my relatives, my village. And that makes us develop businesses that are centered around our own interests, which is why, by the way, we struggle a lot with cross generational businesses or cross generational inheritance or transfer of business. I encourage entrepreneurs to collaborate as much as possible. Sometimes the collaboration involves collaboration in production, collaboration in accessing markets, collaboration in contracts. Grace Manure was facilitating a course. So he said there was a man who had a supermarket and he used to get his produce from Chikubo and stuff like that. So something happened and his supermarket burned. But because he had a very, very good relationship with his suppliers, he was paying them on time, he was working with them, he had good financial planning with them, and so on and so on. His suppliers actually came together. These are people from Chikubo. His suppliers actually came together and said, hey, look, this is bad. What we are going to do is we are going to contribute things to get your supermarket up. You pay us back when you can. That doesn't come from quick solutions to things. It comes from building businesses that are intentionally rooted in relationships as its foundation, but also building relationships that are sacrificial in nature, which is something that I think the younger generation struggles with a lot because we are more we-centered and me-centered than the older generation. I think that collaboration, at the very least, collaboration is the start. At the deep end is building strong relationships that are not just transactional in nature.
Allow me to pose a question to you, Joshua. If you were given a fully funded opportunity to start any business in the world, what would it be?
I will build a tech city. That's just something I want to do. I will build a tech city. I think Uganda is facing a lot of brain drain, and I think most African countries are. We are facing brain drain because mostly our infrastructural systems are not designed to attract labor. Either our labor is expensive or our skills are not refined. But I think that creating a tech city where resources can be centralized and business starting, scaling, and growing can be eased would be one great way. But also, business process outsourcing. Even now, it's much better and easier with large language LLMs, machine learning, and AI. A tech city that brings the world to Uganda. I only need $100 million for that. If you have it, I would be glad to take it right now. Like now.
No worries. I'll check my account and see what I can do. Well, thank you so much, Joshua, for passing by to share your wisdom and your insight. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur or an experienced business owner, in whatever field or industry, the longevity of your vision is definitely something you cannot overlook. Having a spectacular idea isn't enough anymore. Having an idea that works in context, and creating systems and structures to ensure its sustainability is what matters. If you would like to enroll into any of the AVODA programs or find out more about their work and services, just go ahead and visit their website at avodagroup.org. That is AVODA group.org. Or follow them on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok at AVODA Biz all throughout. That's it for this episode. Catch you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of Coffee First. I want to hear from you. If anything stood out for you from this episode, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also keep up with all the episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.